Ladies and gentlemen, to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest podcasts we do, head over to Spotify and search for Wrestling Bytes Podcast, or you can head over to anchor.fm/Wrestling Bytes Podcast to get the newest episodes when they come out, as they come out. But we do thank you for going back and listening to the archives over on YouTube or back on one of those sites as well. And we thank you so much for listening at Wrestling Bytes Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the Wrestling Bytes Podcast? Your host, on the site, and Chris Young. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Wrestling Bytes Podcast. I am your host, as always, Pun the Psych. I will introduce myself this time. And with me, as always, is my co-host with the mo-host, the best damn referee in the business. I don't even know what mo-host means, but we're going to roll with it. I should have said my host with the ho-host.
Oh man, I love Swiss cake rolls.
I know
they are fantastic. My name is Chris Young, but you guys already knew that. And I
could have swore he had sticky buns.
Oh man, who is that was obsessed with sticky buns? Gosh,
I can't remember.
That kid from high school. Gosh,
Lewis?
No.
What's it?
He came out for the 8th grade talent show, and he did stand-up comedy, and all he kept doing was making jokes about Ozzy Osbourne. And I didn't know who Ozzy Osbourne was.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Vinny, wasn't his name? Yep. Vinny Larson.
Yep. Vinny Larson. Yep. The kid, the first kid in our school who had a tattoo.
Yeah,
at like 11.
Yeah. Yep.
He was part of the FFA club too. Future Felons of America.
I don't think that's what that stands for. But nobody is tuned in to listen to our high school tales.
Well, maybe for another podcast on a different day and a different bad channel, maybe. But anyways, I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an interesting week of wrestling. Like we did on the podcast before, we reviewed Elimination Chamber. We are going to go over No Surrender, and I already feel like, Chris, that I already want to surrender on that. We're going to do some other shows as well here in our review time.
Yep.
We're going to start off with AEW Rampage. See, I don't know if like the Sandman was delivering chair shots. I mean, like putting me to sleep during these shows, but man, I struggled to stay awake through all of these programs. I did manage, because of you getting the interview with Mr. Alexander tonight. I did get to watch the rest of NWA.
I'm sorry.
That was a waste of time. But anyways, guys, we're going to start off with AEW Rampage.
This big shout out to my DVR, because it recorded it because it was at 7 p.m. And when I tuned in at 10, I didn't have it.
Well, you did, but you didn't know you had it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So this was the in-ring debut of Jay White this week. And the Dark Order's 10 found himself in the crosshairs when he stepped into the ring with Adam Cole. Powerhouse Hobbs took on Dante Martin. Serena Deeb held another 5-minute rookie challenge. Let's take a look. Let's go into what happened here. The first match of the night. It's Adam Cole taking on Dark Order's number 10.
Yep. It was all of these matches, with the exception of the main, they were good TV matches, but I I wouldn't go any better than that. So this match was interesting. Um, I didn't think 10 can sell very well. Maybe it's because you can't see the facials, but it it was the worst match of the night, but it wasn't bad.
I kind of have to agree with you on this one. I didn't feel like Adam Cole's moves were being sold the right way, so they didn't look believable at times,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, when you wrestle with a mask on, which was something I had to learn a few times in my life here, when you wrestle with a mask on, you have to exaggerate other expressions to overcompensate for the fact that you have no facials.
Yep.
Maybe that's something that he just forgot about tonight or what, but it was very prevalent in this match. It was a good TV match, though. I will agree with you on that. Um, I
Yeah.
just think that agreed. It was probably the worst match of the night, but for being the worst match of the night, I still rated it a B minus. So I mean, it's not a horrible ordeal.
Yeah, and the way I grade matches, like you know, every show, it's related to what's going on the show. So if it's a TV match and it's a good TV match, that's a C rating for me because that's average. That's what I'm expecting. So this match I gave a C minus, and you know, that's only because it was a good TV match, but it 10 just didn't sell very well.
See, I play the marble game, and then I just make up the grade at the end. You put too much work into this, dude.
Well,
My
I
my
think
grades
about it a lot.
have a curve of a full grade because at times, when I look at these, I try to give them a fair grade most of the time. But to be honest with you, like matches like this are hard to grade because television perspective wise, it was good.
Yeah,
Um, from our aspect, which is like a fan slash wrestler ourselves, it fell very short.
yeah,
So the average TV watcher could be listening to this review and say, "You guys are way off kilter." Remember, we've both been in and out of a ring in different forms, so we kind of have a different perspective, like most of the guys that travel through the locker rooms in the indies have, and most of those guys would probably agree this fell a little short.
yeah.
Um,
And it's our opinion, and everybody has a different idea of what a good wrestling match is.
yeah, and the sad part about Vance, number 10 is this was probably one of his most strongest performances in the last few months, and it still fell short. So, had Adam Cole been with somebody else, this would have been a better opener.
Yeah. And Adam Cole got the victory.
Yep. Then we had Powerhouse Booker T. Hobbs taking on Dante Martin, and I'm referencing his singlet with all the flames.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
came out, all I could hear was ice, 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 ice.
Go, go, go.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard. Do 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 do. But Hobbs jumped the bell here. He crushed Martin to the corner. The ref got involved and actually backed the guy away. They didn't bury the ref at the beginning of this match. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And Dante Martin had a really sweet tornado plancha during this
yeah,
match.
that was a very solid tornado plancha at that too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the follow up for that missile drop kick was actually pretty impressive as well. I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it was again, it was a good TV match. It established that Powerhouse Hobbs is starting to be built as one of these guys again that is going to be unstoppable. They're probably going to end up pairing him against Keith Lee at some point in time, and Keith will put Powerhouse will put Keith over.
Yep.
But it served its purpose and it was a good match.
Oh yeah. I gave this one a solid B. Um, I also like the Hobbs' spine buster at the end looked pretty vicious. It was a pretty believable spine buster. So,
Yep.
um, and the reason I gave this a B and I put this as my main deterioration is that every time they give Martin a chance to shine, he knocks it out of the park. He's a very good young talent, and this match really showed that he can wrestle anybody at any size and perform well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Then we had Serena Deeb's 5-minute blowout.
Wait. Whoa.
Well,
Riddle me this. What happened between Powerhouse Hobbs' match and Serena Deeb's 5-minute challenge?
it's not in my notes. So you're gonna have to enlighten me there, Riddler.
Jade Cargill dressed like the Riddler.
That's probably why it wasn't in my notes. Because Rey
She was,
Mysterio's done that 20 times.
well, she didn't have dollar signs, or she had dollar signs, not question marks, but it was the same color, and she was green, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the Riddler.
So she was the $1 million Riddler.
Yeah, pretty much. So I can't wait. I hope when she comes out wearing that they start chanting like Dollar General at her or something. But yeah, that's the first thing I thought of is she's the Riddler, and I couldn't
Dollar General.
unsee that. But yeah,
That
okay,
that
sorry.
chant's never gonna escape my brain now. Every time I see her, I'm gonna be all like Dollar General. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, Serena Deeb.
She fought Angelica Risk,
Yeah.
which was a risk for her to take on Serena Deeb in this 5-minute rookie squash.
Well,
Yeah. Angelica took a risk.
okay, all right. You know, I've said it before. I'll say it every time. I love what's going on with Serena Deeb. I love her as a character. I love this 5-minute challenge. I love everything about this. And I think this match was pretty good. You know, it lasted longer than last week. And, you know, I think Angelica did a perfect sell job. I think for what they accomplished, it was a great match. It was entertaining. I loved all of this.
Yeah, this was a good match. I wrote a couple of things about this match. Number one, nice power bomb into locking the submission. It was a pretty nice flow. And on top of that, I like this angle, but now it only makes sense that if you're going to line John Moxley up with Bryan Danielson and they're going to eventually form a coalition, you have to add Serena Deeb to the fold.
The Professor. Yep. That makes
You
sense.
have to. And I think that's what they're setting up, and I think it's kind of obvious, but if it wasn't obvious for you, then I just became Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I could see that. Thanks for pointing it out. But yeah, I too noted
All right,
the
Captain
great power
Hindsight.
bomb. What?
You're Captain Hindsight. I was Captain Obvious, and then you hindsighted it, so you are now Captain Hindsight.
Okay.
Okay, look above us, watch it fly over Chris's head, and there it goes.
I missed it.
I know. It's okay though.
You're not going to tell me to get the net again, are you?
No, but that was hilarious, by the way.
It was, yeah.
Then we had was there anything in between Trent Beretta and Jay White?
Nothing that I noted.
Okay, because apparently my notes are lacking, so we have to rely on yours now. This was now. Was this this was Rampage Slam Dunk Edition?
Yeah.
So was this like NBA Jam version of Rampage? But I didn't see he's on fire. Nobody went downtown. I didn't see big bobbleheads dribbling basketballs. Anyways, so this was the boom shaka laka laka. White and Beretta they locked up after some trash talking and kind of got into this match. You know, I know a lot of people that didn't know who Jay White were probably kind of curious. And I'm going to tell you that in this match, if you didn't know who Jay White was before, I'm pretty sure you know who he is now.
Yeah.
And if you did, you're probably going to like his work because that was a phenomenal match by these men.
Yes.
This was the match of the night, in my opinion.
Yes.
All the way. Now, the reason why these guys wrestled so well together is because Trent Beretta has been a consistent wrestler in New Japan. So these guys have faced off a ton of times and they made it work. They just made this work.
We were reminded many times that they had fought in Japan.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to be Jim Ross and remind us all again.
Excalibur, but yeah. No, this was the first match I've seen with Jay White, and it met and exceeded all of my expectations. So it was a
Yeah.
great match. It really was.
I figured you would like this match because I mean, it did have a combination of some flippy stuff and some good technical wrestling, but I don't think it overpowered in any high spot.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few extra false comebacks, but I think it was more a struggle for the victory at that point.
Yeah.
And it worked to tell the story. So I don't think it was overkill. I gave this match an A minus. I was going to give it an A straight, but I don't really give straight A's. I usually give it's got to be something. So um, I gave it an A minus, and I feel like that's a fair grade for it.
Well, I'm sitting here watching this match and I'm thinking to myself, are we going to go the entire show without an apron spot? But
No,
no, of course, we had an apron spot courtesy of Jay White. So that took my rating from an A minus to a B plus.
oh,
Yeah, I
ouch, that
know.
was a little harsh.
Uh,
Um,
I I mean, come on. Can we just
yeah, you should raise that grade up just for the way that they broke that chair in half
well, yeah, that
with
that
that
was interesting.
superplex. Yeah.
But, Trent did a moonsault to the outside and Jay was in the wrong spot and missed him completely. But
I always wanted to start a chant in audience when something like that happens. And instead of the "you effed up" chant, I want to chant "you gigged wrong, chair gigged wrong, chair gigged wrong,"
yeah,
or
yeah.
chair effed up, chair effed up.
But yeah, nope. I agree with you. This was definitely the match of the night, and it was a good showing by Jay. It makes me want to see more of him, and that was definitely the goal.
Yeah, I want to see more of Jay White, and I want to see less of Orange Cassidy getting extra steps on his pedometer while he's standing at ringside because this dude paced like he was awaiting a baby.
Yeah.
It
Yep,
was
he
kind of
did.
creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. So the only other thing I want to add is Ricky Starks was on commentary all night. I didn't care for it. I think he was tired and he often mumbled and slurred some of his words. So
I think he was drunk.
that's a possibility too.
He pulled a Scott Hall.
But
I still say that he's better than Jericho. I'd rather listen to someone mumble than someone yell at me all night.
well, yeah. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd pick Ricky Starks all day.
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
take
want Jericho
mush
yelling.
mouth Starks.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
So anything
my
else?
final notes on this show were overall it got a grade of a B plus. I think that there was some great bookending in the show with Cole and White both getting victories, making the Elite look strong moving forward. There wasn't a major surprise for the first time in several weeks on Rampage, but it was still a solid episode nonetheless.
Yep. Yeah, the main event saved the show, and it was a good TV show, so it was definitely worth the watch.
Yeah, the main
But
event brought this from a C plus to a B show.
Yep.
To be fair.
Yep. So that was Rampage.
But before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this time to tell you all, when I first started doing podcasts out here, I had to do everything from my computer. They didn't even have encoders at that time. We were just recording audio. We were putting it up. We were doing everything we could, using all sorts of different editor programs and whatnot. Nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, there's a program out there that can make all of your podcasting simple and easy, and Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Anchor gives you the tools. It gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or your computer. Now, I can tell you that this is very helpful for someone like me whose computer went down. I am able to get on my phone, record these podcasts, and still get them out in a timely manner. Their creation tools do allow you to record and edit your podcast to make them sound so great like they do coming out of Anchor. They'll also distribute your podcast for you so it can easily be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money as well from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Again, no minimum listenership. If you're interested in checking this out, or you're looking for a new way to podcast, go to Anchor today and download the Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That's my mama.
So what are we going from here?
Well, if you're going to say NWA before you say Power, it was actually NWA USA. Because what a lot of people don't realize is they changed the name of the show, but it's the same show. There's no set change. There's nothing different about the show. I just think they maybe feature wrestlers from the USA. I'm not sure. It's not on USA. It's on
I
Fight
have no
TV.
idea.
So
I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't. So I
Power
just
doesn't
watched
feature Power
Power.
wrestlers, and USA, you would assume would feature USA wrestlers, but
I don't know. I
I,
watched Power. That's what we're gonna review next.
and ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware of how to find NWA Power, NWA USA, they are posted on YouTube as well as Fight TV.
Yeah.
Because I had somebody ask me that, like, you guys review that, but what is it? Where's it at? Where can I watch it? Well, there you go.
Yep. That's where I follow it on YouTube.
So are you ready to go over this sleeping pill of a show?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Same commentators as last week. Medusa's out there, and Madison Rain did a pretty good job. She's trying to do some play by play, and it kind of works. So
Well, when she doesn't have to contend with Austin Idol in the background, she can think.
that's
And I think
true.
it makes her better.
That's true. So we started off the show with a tag team match.
Yeah, this was Sal Renaro with Danny Deals versus Jamie Stanley and Jay Spade.
No.
No.
Nope. Williams, I think Doug Williams and Nick Aldis.
Oh, I'm ahead. Wow. Hold on, I gotta go back. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I can keep up with this one.
They got introduced at the start of the show, and their opponents were already in the ring, so you knew which way this was going to go. I was quite surprised that it actually lasted a good 7 minutes. And the best part of the entire match, I don't know who they wrestled, who Williams and Aldis wrestled. They were two unknowns. That's actually what I wrote because I didn't catch their names. But I swear upon all that is holy, the one gentleman did his best Bret Hart look. He had the long stringy hair.
Yeah.
He has his face that looks just like Bret. He was doing some of Bret's moves, and it was like, this is Bret Hart reincarnated. I don't know what his name is. I probably should look it up.
I thought his name was like the Grit Man Ted Smart. I don't really know what his name is, but that's what I want to call him.
Oh my God, that is perfect.
The Grit Man.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to somebody. That's gonna be. Oh man, that's great. That's good stuff.
If Scotty Z was still booking wrestling, that would be an insta character, and he'd get over so fast.
Oh man, yeah. He'd have to come out to. Well, it doesn't matter. All right, so yeah, this match, the first 3/4 of it was actually really good. It was a good kind of back and forth competitive match. I enjoyed it, and then it got sloppy, and I'm not sure why it got sloppy. Whether the two enhancement talents, as I'll call them, whether they got tired or whether I'm not sure, but they went into this pre-planned spot where all four guys were in the ring. It was the first time all four were in the ring, and it just got bad. Williams and Aldis tried a double slingshot, and they mistimed it and it looked terrible. Yeah, and then everything just started slowing down, and it was like, oh, this match had the potential to be up there in the B plus range, and then it just fizzled out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, before I even say any comments about this match, I have to ask you a question, Chris. Are you secretly promoting like 5 Hour Energy or something? Because everybody's tired tonight.
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure. There wasn't like a secret promo there. But 5 Hour Energy, you're welcome to sponsor us if you'd like.
Yeah,
I'll take any sponsor. This match was good, but it really lacked at the end. Like this is what I call quicksand. Okay. This is what literally happened. I went back and watched this twice because I've been in matches where this has happened. This is the result. This is if you ever hear me talk about the famous Kinross incident, this is kind of how it happened. You're in the ring and you go to put on a move and it falls off. The timing hits wrong. And then you whip a guy into the rope and hit the clothesline. And when you hit the clothesline, the guy falls off frumpy and makes you look like crap. And then the next thing you do fails. And the next thing you do fails. And the next thing you do fails until you're buried. You can't breathe anymore because you're over your head. That's what happened here. These guys did not climb out of that. And it just was floppy. So I agree.
Yeah. was a disappointment. I mean, overall, it's still pretty good, but it ended flat.
I have to say that as well, that the tag team name of Nick Aldis and Tom Latimer and the British Invasion.
Not Latimer.
There's not
Williams.
There's not four of them, and they're not named John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Wasn't that the British Invasion?
I guess that was the start of the British
and
Invasion.
The Birds.
I think technically it was all the British bands coming over in America, so you got to include like the Dave Clark Five and all that jazz.
And I don't remember who wrote Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter, but they were in that group.
Hermits.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Though, like all those bands were blowing up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool name.
I just feel like Beatles. There should be four of them,
or at least have like moppy haircuts.
Yeah. So the next match, to me, just seemed like a gimmick to sell I don't even know. This was Marty Bell with Allison Kay with two L's, a Y, and a sin at the end, versus Tootie Lynn with Kylie Ray, Smiley Ray. I've never seen them push This Girl Is Happy more down anybody's throat than I've ever seen a gimmick my entire life, besides maybe Bailey. The problem is I wonder if this girl's really happy or if she's secretly sad. Somebody give this woman a hug.
Outside, I'm smiling, but inside, I'm crying.
That's how I feel.
Yep. Yeah, this match was interesting. There was a lot of awkward execution of moves. There was a mistimed flying body. It was, The only thing that saved this match was the finish. It was a very creative finish. It didn't execute very well, but it was a creative finish.
Yeah, for sure. You're talking about that backbridge cover to get the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great concept. It just, the execution was off a little bit. I think that this whole match was like when you're watching pirated wrestling pay-per-view on some offsite and it's off by like half a second. So like the audio is ahead of the match and you hear the third recount before as the ref's going down to count the one. You're like, Yeah, it's like that.
Yep.
And that was where I fell asleep the first time, by the way.
Yeah, Tootie Lynn got the win. Whoa, can't say that 3 times fast. Tootie Lynn got the win. And now we cut to the back for a segment that should have been on the Maury Show. Who is Kion's father? So apparently, I mean, I'm new to NWA. I am. I hadn't seen one thing until 3 weeks ago. So I guess the running storyline is Kion's father is some sort of famous NWA wrestler, but nobody knows who it is, and he's not telling anybody. So that's what everybody's trying to figure out is who is Kion's father? And he gave us a hint. It was a NWA heavyweight champion.
Yeah, that's a great hint because we kind of already assumed that was the case.
Yep. So, yep.
Do you have any guesses as who he might be?
Who the person is portraying the character or who the dad is?
Who the person is portraying the character and who the dad is.
I don't have any idea of who he could be because I've only seen him wrestle one match in this interview, which lasted 30 seconds. So I haven't really committed it a lot of time.
I'm gonna say something harsh, and you can laugh or not. But you know who I know it's not.
Who?
David Flair.
Yeah. Yes, we know it is not David Flair.
I heard that he doesn't get around very much anymore.
Yeah, he is the he did wrestling in reverse. He started on a national level and now does indie bookings versus indie bookings to a national level. So I don't even think he'd take an NWA booking. It's not an indie show.
Well, figuring that he's the Benjamin Button version of Ric Flair, his prime's already been over since '99.
Yeah.
esque. So
Yeah.
if I was to take a crack at it, it's Cody Rhodes. I'm joking. It's not really
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, at this point in time, it could be anybody. I mean, did what's his name? Tommy Rich have a son? I have no idea.
somebody
He was
made
champion
it.
for a day.
Somebody got with Tommy Rich.
Hey, I heard back in the day, Tommy Rich, cause they used to call him Sir Lays a lot of pipe. They did. That's what I heard. It was like in the 80s. So
That could have had a whole different meaning in the 80s, though. We might not even know. All we wanted to do is play with our wrestling figures and watch Saturday Night Main Event. So
yeah. All right. Next up, this is where, let's see. This was the first of 3 women's matches in a row.
yeah.
And so now we move into the second one. I can't read my handwriting.
Genocide
Markova.
versus Natalia Markova.
Yeah, and she cut a wonderful promo. Markova, just before this match started. Genocide's in the ring, and Markova is outside, and she cuts one hell of a promo. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. She did a great job. And I did also write in my notes that I would rather watch this Markova chick than Slamovich any day of the week and like 8 times on Sunday.
Well, I'm kind of being a little facetious. The reason why I'm half truthing here. First off, she has a hard accent. I can't understand a word she says, which makes me want to just like hate her even more. I'm sorry, that sounds really biased, but that's wrestling, right? So immediately that's like heel heat. And I'm like, oh, can't you just, say something that I understand? But then she kept it short. It was like, boom, boom, done. I'm going to go kick your butt. And I was like, whoa, okay, I love this. But what she said wasn't realistic about, I'm going to kill you or something like that. And I'm like, ugh, okay. But yeah, no, I mean, I really thought that was pretty entertaining, pretty good. The match, on the other hand.
Yeah, this match was a typical Indies women's average wrestling match.
Yeah.
They had the heart, they had the effort, but a lot of the moves just kind of fall a little lackluster. I mean, that's just 100% honesty. It's nothing to be rude or it's not sexist. It's just the way that average indie female matches get booked. They're not supposed to have 80,000 on high spots, but
part of me wants to think that they knew that their timing was off because they tried to reset halfway through the match. They had this really weird, like 30-second interaction where they're both standing there daring each other to hit each other. Like they were exchanging, they're both like, hit me. No, you hit me, hit me, hit me. And I think they were trying to reset and try to get this back on, because from there, then they had a couple of good spots and then they moved to the outside for the finish of the match.
Well, they had a couple of good spots and then they moved to the ring apron.
Yep. Yep. There was a Markova did a tornado DDT Genocide onto the floor, which is concrete, and it was great, very dangerous. But then Genocide didn't sell it. Like within, I'd say 4 or 5 seconds, she was up, and that's what they were yelling on commentary. How is she standing? Or how is she on her feet? And I'm like, yeah, we're trying to figure out the same thing. And the idea was they wanted to do 2 big spots. So then we got another big spot, which I don't even remember what it was. And that led to the count out. But they would have been good if they would have just left it at the DDT and it got counted out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't. This was the worst match of the night.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Then we had
a close second is the next match.
Yeah. Which is disappointing with Melina.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see her walk out. I was like, oh, is this where she's been hiding? But this match, yeah. Melina versus Christy Janes. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Janies. Christy Janies. Jaynes. I watched it like 5 hours ago. You think I'd remember? So, there was a lot of slow executing spots in this match. It was almost like it was Christie's first time working, and you wanted to just make sure everybody was safe. And it there was a roll around spot to start the match where they were locked up. It was a good idea, but it was poorly executed. There were a ton of elbow spots by Christie, and
Yeah,
it
there
was
was.
just slow and awkward. And then the ref, oh my gosh. He started counting a pin where Christie apparently was on top of Melina, but Christie was not on top of Melina. And he counted 1, he counted 2, and I think Christie realized what was going on and had to quickly jump up to make it look like she wasn't pinning Melina, because she wasn't. And then they moved into like a roll spot. It was just, I was like, what the hell is going on? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. This, I don't know. I felt like Melina carried this match very hard. I feel like this Christy Janies or James is still pretty green. Um, this match placement on this show didn't make a lick of sense to me.
Yeah.
Had this one on second, it may have went better, but having it this late in the show, the crowd was not behind this match. They were behind Melina, but
Yeah.
They weren't really behind the match itself.
It's name recognition.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the worst part was the entire night the commentators were talking about how great the referees are, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Melina gets the victory.
They think they're a good commentary team too, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. So, and I'll give it to you, NWA manages to pack in a ton of wrestling in an hour.
Yeah, I can't believe they got
another match. Victor Benjamin versus Matt Cardona. And
believe it or not, there was more.
Yeah, I know.
Much more.
Yeah. This was the match of the night. No way around it. This was the best match of the night. I gave it a B- because it was pretty good. It was entertaining. They both worked well with each other. And the only thing that I noted was the finish of the match. You know, Matt Cardona is hitting his finishing move off I think it's the second rope. And for some I know why I don't agree with it, but Victor jumped to take the move to make it look worse than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, why in any realistic reason would you be jumping at that point in time?
Right.
So that's why I gave it a B-. It should have been a B, but then I saw that and I was like, too odd. That just doesn't make sense. B-.
Yeah, I mean, I just gave it a solid B. It was a match. It was the best match of the night, but it was still just a match.
Yeah, Matt Cardona is always ready. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely shows that you can transition a WWE style into an indie company, and it still works because he's still very, very WWE familiar with his wrestling style.
Yep.
And we had a sixth match, which was Strictly Business in El Rudo versus The End and Rodney Mack in the finals of Team War. I have a question.
Sure.
Where was the rest of Team War?
This was the finals. This was it. These two people won last week. These two teams won last week. So now they're facing off against each other to figure out who is going to be the champions and get $30,000 of fake money.
So was Team War like four groups?
I think it was no, because there were 3 teams. Oh my gosh, you're right. Where's the third team? Oh no, it was 2 matches with 3 teams. So there were 6 teams total. And oh my God, I've gone cross-eyed.
You know, like, where's the third team?
I think no, because there were 2 matches and there were 3 teams in each match and only one team survived.
Okay,
So
okay,
you've got your 2 final people.
okay.
So that's what it was. And I didn't care for the match. It
No.
was awkward. It was slow. I'll be 100% honest with you. I actually went I'm watching this on YouTube, so I chose playback speed 1.5 and it looked really good. And then I slowed it down and it looked really bad. So that tells you a lot about how slow and awkward that match was.
I'm just gonna start watching all of NWA shows in 1.5 speed.
Yeah, I mean, they look a lot better. It looks
Do the commentators sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks?
no, because it's just they bring up the pitch just a little bit, but it's still very recognizable.
Oh,
It's funny because Madison Rain has a tendency to talk a little bit slower, which I actually enjoy. A commentator that will talk a little bit slower and kind of build things. So when you play it a little bit faster, then she's in a normal cadence.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That really does make sense. So, 100%. No, this match fell short. Again, 6-man tags are boring. They're boring.
Yeah, I'll give them props for coming up with this new concept. I'm glad they didn't do a whole premium live event for this, but I mean, I would be open to see it again, but as long as they can come up with logical stories during the match.
Right.
So, and what the end in Rodney Mack won.
Yeah.
So
No,
they
strictly
are.
business and Naruto won by pinfall.
Is it? I
Yeah.
didn't write it down. So I was
Strictly business. Yeah, I did. Strictly business and Naruto won.
Oh,
Yep.
well. And each one, there's 3 people, so each of them got $10,000. Congratulations to them in their bank account.
We got $10,000.
We got $10,000.
Oh. All right. That takes me to my favorite show of the week.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Monday Night Raw. Oh God. I I I have a few issues with the show, but I'm gonna get to it at the end. This was the February 21st edition of Monday Night Raw. With the Elimination Chamber over, it's time for WWE to put the focus on WrestleMania 38. Sunday's event saw one title change hands, but it was Bobby Lashley who lost the title. We know this. We've recapped this. We saw Bianca Blair win at the Elimination Chamber. Raw dealt with all of the fallout from the show and began the final stretch on the road to WrestleMania. I don't think any signs caught on fire this week.
Nope. No signs on fire.
We had an opening segment, which had Brock Lesnar making his way to the ring with his newly won WWE Championship. This was a promo. This is another reason why Brock Lesnar kind of needs a mouthpiece.
Yep. Yeah, he did the one thing that I hate that they do in AEW. He encouraged the fans to start chanting things, or he chanted along with the fans.
Yep.
And Brock doesn't need to talk. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do with him, but the gist of this promo, which was terrible on both parts, Paul Heyman did not be his typical Paul Heyman. The gist was Brock Lesnar saying, "I'm not doing anything on Raw tonight, but I will be on SmackDown on Friday."
Yeah, I think Paul was tired.
Get him a 5-hour energy.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord.
And, you know, Paul said something about you're supposed to wrestle Bobby Lashley at Madison Square Garden on March 5th, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Bobby's out. Like, how is that supposed to happen? Like, you know, okay, concussion protocol, that's the storyline. You know, okay, they addressed it a little bit later. They were like, oh, he might still be on concussion protocol, but we all now know that he's out with a serious injury and he's going to be He's not going to be there. So why are they advertising something that's not going to happen?
I think they're just gonna fill it with a surprise spot. It doesn't matter who gets that booking. They have to put him over. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't make any sense to change momentum from title holder to title holder a month before the big show. No.
Yeah.
And I don't see him doing that either. So no.
There used to be days, or there used to be a time where the champion, the new champion, would wrestle on Monday Night Raw the night after the premium live event.
Yeah, and it was generally a rematch from whoever they won the title from. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was still a title match.
But yeah, we didn't get that on Monday night. We just got Lesnar. And I guess maybe it's because he was tired from all the travel. I don't know. But didn't care for it. Thought it was stupid. Was disappointed.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of this. This got like a C- for me.
Yeah. And then, go ahead.
I just felt like this was just like Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar having a squabble on an airplane sitting next to each other.
Yeah. Yep. And from here, we spend the next hour and 22 minutes in tag team heaven. If you love tag teams, this is your hour and 22 minutes to shine.
Hey, this was better than the hour and 22 minutes of promos. I mean, one match.
Yeah. Yep. We start off the tag team segment with Seth and KO backstage announcing that they're going to be a tag team now. Okay. And then we go to our first match of the night, Street Profits versus Alpha Academy for the tag team titles.
Deja vu.
Yeah, we're seeing the same people over and over again, just different combinations. I don't
These
know
guys
why.
these guys just wrestled each other a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Again, this was a good TV match. I gave it a C plus. You know, we got to see all the normal spots that we always get to see. There was a couple of glaring things that I didn't care for. First off, Otis was outside the ring and telegraphed Dawkins dive over the top rope. He kept looking back, waiting for it. And it was like, I mean, you knew it was coming. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, what's his name? Montanius Ford. He slowed down a lot in this match. Maybe that was the story, but it slowed down. He couldn't keep up.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe it was the story, or maybe he was just tired.
Yeah. And then I actually thought it was kind of a creative finish when Chad went to the outside and it was kind of like hiding. We forgot he was there and ended up holding the leg after after I think it was Ford picked up Otis and then Otis ended up falling on him. It was creative. I liked it. It was good. But what I didn't care was we had 2 minutes of wrestling, 4 minutes of commercial, and then 2 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, my overall thoughts on this match was it was wonky. It was a specific kind of dirty finish that isn't used a lot. So it was definitely variety wise throw up better than like the usual DQ or schmaz, you know, like so. I think that these guys had a decent match. It's just we've seen this combination too much lately.
Yeah.
And that's why I got the grade I gave it.
Yeah. And then we're backstage again where Tommaso Ciampa announces Finn Balor is going to be his tag team partner. Oh, yay. And then we go to the room where they are wrestling the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Oh, Robert Roode.
Yeah. The only thing I knew in this match was that they did the same exact top rope, over the top rope spot that they did in the previous match. And it went to a commercial just like in the previous match.
Yeah.
It was literally a carbon copy. I was like, oh my gosh. But overall, this was a good TV match. Again, C+. It gave it the same rating as the previous match. What did you think of it?
I thought that the whole I don't know, it was okay. The Dirty Dogs, I like their work. I know I bag on them a lot. Okay, I do. But both guys are great wrestlers. The reason I bag on it is because they constantly get buried.
Yeah.
In this occasion, it wasn't a buryment. I feel like it was a pretty 50-50 match till they took off to the finish. Um, I gave this match a B. I think that overall it was okay. It lacked a little bit psychology wise, in my opinion, but overall, TV wise, especially, it was a solid match.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was nice to see Tommaso Ciampa on Raw.
Yeah, and the return of Finn Balor. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I don't care so much for that part, but it was nice to see Tommaso Ciampa on Raw.
And then we move to Miz TV, where Miz is going to announce his tag team partner. But before he does that, he's got to call out Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. And on a side note, am I the only one that thinks Dominic Mysterio looks a lot like Giant Gonzalez in the face? I mean, seriously, you put those side by side, those faces.
Put him in that ugly looking skin suit and let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, and people say Eddie's the father. And so Miz announces his tag team partner is going to be Logan Paul.
Yeah, I was not excited for this segment. This is the WWE at its best, booking a celebrity for WrestleMania. If you call that a celebrity.
Yep. Digital media icon, I think is what Miz said.
If his name is going to be on the docket for anything I pay to go to, it's going to be the day that he gets buried by Mike Tyson if he ever has enough balls to fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
Not looking forward to this match at WrestleMania, that's for sure.
No.
So I think it fell flat. I don't think the reaction is what everybody was expecting when Logan Paul got announced. But then again, he's supposed to be a heel, so
yeah. And then the next match we had my favorite women's wrestler, Nikki Trash. I mean Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
This
we're
was another
with the tag teams. Now we're getting to the singles.
Yeah, and this was a feud that should have ended an Elimination Chamber. But it didn't. And this match felt off.
Terrible.
I didn't like it. I think this proves why Nikki Ash should just change her name to Nikki Trash.
Terrible.
But that wasn't a superhero. That wasn't a supervillain. That was a super crank carrying, helmet toting member of the short bus. It was messed up.
Terrible.
I gave it a D.
Nikki had no offense. It was kind of a quasi squash match. The only offense Nikki had is when Rhea got like backed into the corner, and Nikki started hitting her like two 15-year-old girls who are getting into a cat fight, rolling around, just slapping each other. It was terrible. There's no redeeming goodness in this match at all.
No, not ever since Jerry Lawler left commentary. Yeah, it hasn't.
It's terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, overall, this match was short. Like I said, I gave it a D.
D. And then we get the U.S. title: Damian Priest versus Shelton Benjamin.
Ain't no stopping me. No, I love Shelton Benjamin. I think he's a great worker. I think he's one of the most underrated mid-carders in WWE history. Up there with Owen Hart.
Yeah. Yep. Damian is really awkward in the ring. I don't know what it is, but he almost can't get out of his way.
I feel like his feet grew too big for his body. So he just has these really long feet like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, could be.
And he can't keep traction.
Could be. Yeah.
Poor fella.
Yeah. I mean, this was a little bit less than good for a TV match. I gave it a C-.
Yeah, I gave it a C+. Because of a couple of different reasons. It was too short, and that's normally a bad thing. But this match going faster, I feel like made it look a little better.
Yeah.
I still don't understand this Damian Priest flip out mode thing.
Yeah. I don't either.
And Priest said he wanted the next challenge to be a world title caliber opponent. So Finn Balor came out, accepted it.
Yeah. It's weird.
It'll be a good match, but still kind of weird how that went down. Just this show already, it felt very clunky.
Yeah. There was no flow, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Because we started off with all the tag team stuff. And
right.
then we had, the bad women's match, and then this match fell flat. And then from the time this match ended until the start of the next match, it was 32 minutes of just talking and
Oh,
nothing happened. I mean, we had the 24/7 title with Reggie and Dana Brooks. They did their crap little thing in the ring. And then, Bianca came out and talked and talked and talked, and Becky Lynch came out and talked and talked and talked. This is bad.
yeah. Raw's either off or on, and these segments have been off for a while.
Yep.
They need to take the 24/7 title out back behind the shed like Old Yeller and get rid of it.
Yep. I agree. It's entertainment spot, and it's just ridiculous. And the only thing that I learned out of all this is that Bianca Belair has a nervous laugh when she talks. So she'll say something, and then she'll go, "Uh-huh. I'm going to beat you tonight." Uh-huh. I'm like, "No. Just stop."
Yeah, I agree. They don't believe in themselves. It's not going to get them anywhere.
So then we get a match, another women's match, Dewdrop versus Bianca Belair.
Yeah, and again, this match was a match. If you didn't watch it, you didn't miss much.
It was just as bad as the Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash. And again, maybe they're all tired. I don't know, but this was a slow match. The moves were executed very frumpy, and Dewdrop was not selling to save her life. It was the storyline was strong, but it was poorly executed. I gave it a D plus.
She definitely needs some more work on the stick, but she's been pretty dominant in the ring, and I definitely have to agree with you, and I gave it a straight D.
Yeah, Bianca ended up winning.
Yep. Our next match was RK Bro versus Kevin Owens. And
yep. Well, Edge came out first, and he basically had an open challenge. Anybody wants to take him on at WrestleMania, and they definitely piped in the cheers. It was awful. The rumors I'm hearing is that it's going to be AJ Styles and Edge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then, yep, we get to the main event: RK Bro versus Seth KO.
Well, Seth Rollins has money when he's been in anything lately, and this was no exception.
Yeah.
He's white hot in WWE right now, and I feel like Vince is really capitalizing on his stronger draws right now because Seth Rollins really is the draw if you look at it. Nobody else around is worth the draw. So I think that this match was okay. There was some flow issues in this match that just made it drag on, it seems, at times. But I did like the fact that they got the composure back together, got it back to moving, and did a good job of maintaining a steady pace throughout this match.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely the match of the night. It was entertaining, and these guys always put on a good show. So, there wasn't much to say about it other than it was worth the watch.
Yeah, for sure. I like I said, Raw has been disappointing to me lately. I haven't really been a huge fan of Monday Night Raw as of late. I don't know if it's because they don't have the talent or the writing's off or what it is, but it's time to sort that out because you're going to start losing your viewers to other companies who also are white hot and also have all this stuff going on. So, so I have to say, out of all these shows, obviously the overall show of these ones is AEW. Again, hands down.
Yeah,
Compet
AEW has been better TV shows to watch. That's for
by
sure.
far. I think that they need to capitalize this, and the WWE is going to have to do something real quick to figure out how they're going to maintain the ratings that they've got to do to be competitive in the market. Not even counting wrestling, just
Yeah.
market period. So, that's what makes it rough.
Yep. Yep. I mean, if you didn't watch the show, you didn't miss anything. They tried to sprinkle in a few surprises, but they all fell flat. We'll see what next week brings.
Yeah,
But
I'm not keeping my hopes up.
that was Monday Night Raw.
All right, we are done with reviews then, right?
No, we got no surrender real quick. I'll make this as quick as possible. Put you out of your misery.
I surrender. Go go ahead. I did not watch this one whatsoever, guys. I have been narcoleptic Barbie lately, so
Yeah. Okay. So apparently this took place. This is the Impact live event, premium live event. I'm going to start saying that for everything now. That took place on the 19th. Supposedly it was at the Alero Center just outside of New Orleans, Louisiana. I think it was at the New Orleans Public High School, and they had a grand total of 350 people there because it was a small place, and it looked just like they were on the same set in Arizona or wherever it is they film. Okay, first match of the night. It's number one contender for the X Division Championship. It was Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Jake Something, and Mike Bailey. It was your typical X Division style match. Lots of flippy stuff, no real psychology. There was a really bad spot where Jake Something was supposed to break up a count by doing a back or a shooting star press, standing shooting star press. He mistimed it. The ref actually counted 3, but only claimed to count 2. It was off, but Jake Something ended up getting the victory with his Into the Void. And yeah, I mean, if you're into those kind of matches, it was good, but I'm not. So it was a D for me. And then we transitioned into Jonah versus Black Taurus. This is my first time seeing him, and I was quite surprised he wrestles with a hog mask and horns on. Not sure what that's about. Yeah, Jonah was slow and extremely safe, which made it look like he was fake or out there, like it just wasn't working. There were many, many bad false comebacks. There was a terrible top rope spot where they were trying to do something, but it wasn't executed very well. There was a overshot when he tried to go through the ropes. When Black Taurus tried to go through the ropes, it was all off and it wasn't very good. I originally rated this a D plus, but then I scratched it out and put a D minus because it was just off. Jonah ended up winning with a splash. So the next match on the docket was Eric Young versus Jay White. Having seen Jay White the night before on AEW, I was actually somewhat excited for this match. And it didn't disappoint. I mean, overall, it was a B minus of a match. I enjoyed it very much. There was just a couple of things that I wanted to note. They wrestled really well. And then like halfway through, they had this awkward stop and talk. Like they just like stopped wrestling. They started talking to each other. I'm not sure why. I mean, the match was competitive, so maybe it was like they were trying to psych each other out. And then it just turned into a chop fest. I mean, I easily counted 45 chops. I don't know why. Then they moved to the outside of the ring. They spent a good 4 minutes outside of the ring. And of course, the ref chose not to count to 10. And then I heard the ref say those magic words: go home.
Yay.
Yeah, I was really into this match, and then I heard the ref say that, and I went, "Oh crap!" And 45 seconds later, Jay White is victorious. So, yeah. Again, it didn't disappoint me. I wish I wouldn't have heard "Go Home" because I think the ending would have surprised me a little bit. On a side note, Matt Raywald was doing commentary, and he was supposed to be a heel color commentator like Jesse Ventura or Bobby Heenan, and he was terrible, terrible. I can't stress it enough. Terrible. He was quoting from the movie Dodgeball several times, and he was quoting some of the things that are said on podcasts with like Conrad Thompson. It was off. It didn't make any sense. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. So now we are into the open challenge by Diana Prazo. And Miranda Alizé came out and was challenging for the Ring of Honor women's world title, which, in my opinion, is a lot like saying the WCW television title. It's a defunct company with a made-up title. Yeah. So it was rough. It was a bit sloppy. It almost looked like Diana got hurt halfway through and they had to kind of go home early or couldn't do what they wanted to. And as soon as Diana, locked in a submission move before she could even completely lock it in, Alizé was tapping. So it was a D+ of a match. So far, you're seeing a common theme, lots of low grades. They made it a point at this point in time to let you know Chapel Hart was there. Do you know who Chapel Hart are?
No.
Me neither, but apparently they're really popular in Louisiana. They are a three-woman group who sings gospel country, I think.
Yeah, that's why I've never heard of them then.
Yeah. But they really stressed it, and it made you think that they were going to get involved at some point in time. Okay. All right. The best part was after they cut their promo, it must have been live. Like they had technical difficulties, so you actually heard the director yell, "Okay, we're clear," and then you heard Mickey say, "Oh, guys, you nailed it. That was great." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's quite funny." So we go out to the ring where Matt Cardona, the digital media title or digital media champion, is wrestling Jordan Grace. And when Matt comes out, they have more technical difficulties. So he spent about 45 seconds in the dark, which I found very funny because they pretended like it wasn't happening. So like the referee took the belt, he held the belt up so everybody knew it was for the title. He gave the belt away and he was about to ring the bell, but it was completely pitch black. Like you couldn't see anything. It was strange. It was absolutely strange.
Yeah.
It was mentioned that Matt Cardona came to Impact because he has never won a world title, and now he's going to win a world title at Impact. I find great irony in that. It was a classic style match. It really was. It started off really good, and then it went to crap because they involved this chair for no reason whatsoever. And then the match ended with a DQ when Jordan Grace gave a blatant low blow to Matt Cardona in front of the ref. It was a crap finish. It was a crap use of the chair. It went from being a solid B match to a C+. Disappointing. So, all right, next up. I don't even know where I'm at here. We'll skip that. Next match, the Good Brothers versus the Gorillas of Destiny. So they're, Gallows and Anderson are the tag team champions, and they were having an okay match. Nothing too crazy. It was kind of like your typical big man match, and there was a really bad botched hip toss. We got to the point to where the ref again counted to 3, but pretended like he only counted to 2. And then Jay White came out and the whole storyline here is that Gallows and Anderson are essentially leaving the Bullet Club. Well, that didn't happen. The Gorillas of Destiny were actually kicked out of the Bullet Club. So Jay White ends up costing them the match, and then everybody beats up the Gorillas of Destiny, and now they are out of the Bullet Club. And nobody saw it coming. It was a good story. Okay match. And now something we were all waiting for, the Knockouts Women's Championship. Mickie James, the champion, versus Tasha Steele. It started off really slow, and they spent like 2 minutes outside, and the commentators were even trying to cover because the ref wasn't counting, and it was quite obvious, and then it was odd because the referee was constantly talking to both people throughout the entire match, like going right up to them and whispering in their ear the entire match. It was so weird. Like, you should find this match and watch it. And maybe it's just me, but I thought it was very, very, very odd. They had an okay match. Mickie James ends up winning, and I gave it a C+ of a match. It was entertaining, but it wasn't the best. So Mickie James ends up retaining the title. And now we're at the semi-main event. W. Morrissey takes on Moose, your favorite, for the Impact World Champion. Brian Myers came out to do some commentary, and I don't know if W. Morrissey, I feel like something was wrong with him because he was off, and not off like his head wasn't in the match, but off like he was slow. He was in the wrong spot. He did a sloppy power bomb at the very beginning of the match, and it was crap. He was crap, and he knew it too, because a little bit later he does this power bomb to Moose on the apron, and he was happy he got him. So happy that he yelled, "Well, I got him that effing time, didn't I?"
BDC, BDC, BDC.
Yeah, there you go. That's Moose.
Big Tom can't wrestle.
This match I think probably went about 17 minutes, and it was very, very bad. I mean, there was one point in time where Morrissey couldn't actually stand up. He was tripping over his own feet, just walking. They took an extremely long time to set up a superplex. And the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." And I'm like, have our standards been dropped so low that this is an awesome match? Gosh, I hope not.
Right.
Moose ended up getting the victory. He retained the title. But he used the spear and got the 1, 2, 3. It was a D of a match. It was not good. This is the point in time where we learn Eddie Edwards is out of Team Impact's match. He's going to be replaced with Willie Mack. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So now we're at the main event. Honor No More takes on Team Impact. If Honor No More wins, they can stay in Impact. If Team Impact wins, Honor No More must leave. And of course, just recapping the people, you got Kenny King, you got Matt Taven, you got PCO, Vincent, and Mike Bennett on Honor No More. And on Team Impact, we got Sabin, Rhino, Steve Macklin, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack. This was a brawl. It's kind of what you were expecting. Nothing but chops. King and Kenny King and Willie Mack had a good back and forth battle when they were together. There were a lot of double teams right in front of the refs. Again, it was a brawl, and that's kind of what we were all expecting. There was a lot of missed spots. There was it was just a mess of a 20-minute match. The story was good, but it was a mess of a match. And then we got the shock of a lifetime when Eddie Edwards comes out, hits Rhino with a cane, and costs Team Impact the match. And it was just a cluster of people in the rings everywhere. The match was somewhat entertaining. The story was somewhat entertaining. So it got an average rating. It was what I expected. That's why I give it an average C rating. Yeah. So that's how we ended. We had the surprise that Eddie Edwards is costing Team Impact their match. And then we also had, Moose beating W. Morrissey. So overall, you didn't miss much. There were no title changes. We had 2 quote unquote double crosses with the Bullet Club and Team Impact. And all we really did was kind of prolong storylines. There was no buttoning up of anything. So, yeah, I mean, I would give the overall rating of this event a D+.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yep. So, but that was No Surrender, which on a side note, if there's anybody out there that is looking for a cool, innovative thing to do for a professional wrestling match, I have it right here. Are you ready? I don't know the history of No Surrender, so I did a little bit of research, and I was trying to figure out why it was called No Surrender. And in the end, I've come to the conclusion that there's no reason it was called No Surrender, even back when it was in TNA and they had their first event, I think in 2005. There's no logical reason why it was called No Surrender. So that got me thinking, listen to this style of a match. What if you had a match where you could not surrender and you paired 2 people, one person who was a submission specialist and one person who was an overall good technical wrestler that could beat you with a pinfall? And the idea is you cannot surrender. So you could promos by saying, I'm going to beat you so bad that you're going to want to give up, but you can't. You're going to have to lay there and let me pin you. That would be, you could get a 12-week program out of that.
You get a 30-week program on it if you book it like Alexa Bliss's Return to Raw.
But I think that would be awesome. I was kind of, expecting maybe that was like the first No Surrender, but I don't know. You always see no DQ matches, but how about a No Surrender match?
Yeah. I mean,
the only way you can win is by pinfall. That'd be great. Okay. So, yep. Again, you didn't miss much. You definitely got the better deal watching Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So
it's definitely more entertaining, it sounds like. So
Yep. So I know we're running a little bit long because we got our awesome interview with James Alexander after this. But you want to take time to hit the 3 events that are happening this weekend in the state of Michigan?
Of course. We always have time for events in the Michigan area. Always have time.
Okay. Let's start with this Friday. Pro Wrestling All-Stars will be presenting Frozen Friday in Brownstown, Michigan, the Banquet Hall and Victory Gym, 7:30 p.m. A portion of the proceeds will be going to the Victory Gym's Veterans Program. Currently scheduled are the tag team champions Royce Carney III and Tanner Nix, the heavyweight champion Atlas Hightower, the junior heavyweight champion Amazing Nate Madsen, the Cruiser Core champion Mysterious Moado. I can't read my handwriting again. Sorry, guys. And then the trios champions of Chuck Stein, Sean Lahorn, and the Spider. If you want to get more information on Pro Wrestling All-Stars event this Friday in Brownstown, Michigan, you can check them out on Facebook.com/PWAS Detroit. Yeah, that should be a pretty good show. Nate Madsen always brings it. Yeah. So Saturday, The 26th in Houghton Lake, Michigan, Imperial Wrestling Entertainment will be presenting Backbreakers Ball at the Artesia Youth Center. The main event's going to be a fatal four-way for the heavyweight title. The champion Backwoods Bam will be taking on Roberto Cruz, Corey Carr, and Old School Ricardea. Also scheduled is Jeremiah J. Hughes versus Bill Blackwell, the Mighty Bojack versus Captain Tony Garrick, and Nick Baker versus the Amal. Again, I can't read my handwriting. Emulator, excuse me. Nick Baker versus the Emulator. And then there's going to be a 6-person tag team title match where the current champions, Harley Legal, take on Trevor Stroud and Hannah Henderson, excuse me, versus the Dean Boys, which is Tyler and Tyson. Also scheduled to appear is John Campbell versus Chuck Hammer. If you want to get more information about Imperial Wrestling Entertainment's event this Saturday in Houghton Lake, Michigan, you can go to iwegladiators.com. You can find them on facebook.com/Imperial Wrestling Entertainment, or you can go on YouTube/user/The Imperial Wrestling. They have a Battleground TV show that they post on YouTube. It's actually quite entertaining.
Yeah, I guess check that out if you get the opportunity, for sure.
And last but not least, Independence Pro Wrestling. This Sunday, the 27th, will be in Battle Creek, Michigan. They'll be presenting Defection at Full Blast. Currently scheduled to appear is the new IPW champion, Jack Price, the women's champion, Davison Surai. Davison Surai, Michigan champion, Derek Wolf, and there is a strong rumor that the tag team champions, Josh Raymond and Terry Von Avery, will be there. The Nomads will be there. Ladon
Sanders, the cheek clapping extraordinaire himself.
Ladon Sanders and Scotty Young will also be there. So again, that's this Sunday, the 27th, Battle Creek, Independence Pro Wrestling. If you want to get more information, they are on Facebook, facebook.com/IPW Independence Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, they also promoted recently that they're going to have Heart and Soul airing on YouTube soon, the show that I reviewed. So look out for that as well.
Yeah, they put up some highlights already. It looked pretty awesome. So I'm waiting for that full show to get uploaded. And
yeah, it looked like it was a good show. It looked pretty good from the highlights I've seen as far as video aspects. So yeah, it'll be a good thing. I did, however, notice that I made a correct prediction on the show. Yeah. I predicted that Alexa Bliss would beat Veer Mahan on the Journey to Raw. And who was at the Elimination Chamber? Alexa Bliss. Who appeared in a dark match on Raw this week? Veer Mahan.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And if you haven't taken a look at our TikTok page, we got a nice little video of Veer Mahan up there.
Yeah, because Veer not being on television does not count. We need visual.
Yeah. Good stuff. Speaking of that, if you want us to cover your event that's happening in the state of Michigan or elsewhere, please send us an email. You can send us an email to our new email address, info@thewrestlingbytes.com. And we'd be happy to put it up on the website and promote it as much as we can on Facebook and talk about it here. And then like I said, we're on Facebook. You can find us at Official Wrestling Bytes. And we're also on TikTok, The Wrestling Bytes.
I really thought you were going in a different direction with that. Guys, if you want us to promote your show, just send us an Uber and we'll be there.
Yep. Feel free to do that. We'd love to come and cover your show and get you up here. Yeah. Good stuff. So, and yeah, don't forget to take a look at Don't forget to take a look at the website, thewrestlingbytes.com, where we list all of the events happening in Michigan that we are aware of. We try to be on top of all of that. And then we also have links to the podcast and ways to get up with us on social media.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I have anything else to promote. Ladies and gentlemen, due to unforeseen circumstances and technical difficulties, Chris did not get the recording down for James Alexander, and we deeply apologize. And I hope that you can forgive us on that. We did contact James Alexander, and he agreed to reschedule, and we will let you know when that happens. I also wanted to let everybody know that on Monday's episode, we will be having Solo on, and he's a young, dynamic talent and had a great interview. I have the audio because I use Zoom, shameless plug, and I'm editing that up now as we speak, and it will be ready for Monday night's episode. So we will see you guys Monday night when we review SmackDown and so much more, as well as the interview with Solo. Pun the Psych here, and for my friend and co-host Chris Young, as he would tell you, keep it between the ropes. And ladies and gentlemen, you ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here because I'm shutting the shop down. Have a wonderful night, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest podcasts we do, head over to Spotify and search for Wrestling Bytes Podcast, or you can head over to anchor.fm/Wrestling Bytes Podcast to get the newest episodes when they come out, as they come out. But we do thank you for going back and listening to the archives over on YouTube or back on one of those sites as well. And we thank you so much for listening at Wrestling Bytes Podcast.